Hey, it's me. Perhaps you might be feeling discouraged right now. Maybe you're asking yourself, what's the point of all this work? I still feel lost. I still feel unhappy. If that's where you are, I want to remind you of two things. The first thing is that anyone who has found real growth and freedom has also gone through times where they felt stuck, just like you do right now. They kept going. And because of that, they eventually felt a shift. And the second thing is that feeling stuck just means that there's something inside you that you haven't fully faced yet. Something you might not even realize you're avoiding. When we resist looking at certain truths about ourselves, it can feel like we're hitting a wall. If you're feeling stuck, I encourage you to ask yourself honestly, is there something I'm afraid to see? Am I convincing myself that I already know the answer? Am I blaming outside circumstances instead of looking within? If you sit with these three questions without judgment, you might start to see what's really holding you back. And once you see it, you're already on your way to breaking through. Now, I want to talk about something that I feel is important: the difference between sadness and depression. At first, it might seem obvious. Sometimes, though, these two emotions overlap so much that it's hard to tell them apart. You might think you're just sad about something that happened, when in reality, there's a deeper hidden pain weighing you down. Sadness is a natural response to loss or disappointment. It's painful, but it's clean. It doesn't come with self-pity or hopelessness. Sadness allows you to grieve, and it also allows you to move forward. You know deep down that the pain will pass. Depression, on the other hand, is different. It feels heavy, like you're carrying something much bigger than the situation itself. It comes with frustration, helplessness, and often a sense that things will never change. Even if something external triggered it, depression usually has deeper roots: old wounds, buried fears, or emotions we don't want to face. So, for example, let's say you've lost someone you love. If you're experiencing pure sadness, you feel the pain of their absence, and you also trust that you'll find a way to keep going. You allow yourself to feel without trying to resist or push it away. If you're feeling depressed, there's often something else at play. Maybe guilt, regret, fear of your own mortality, or unresolved pain from the past. So instead of just grieving, you might feel stuck, unable to process what's really happening inside you. That's why depression can feel so suffocating. It's not just about the present pain, it's about all the things we've pushed down over time. So if you're feeling that way, I want you to ask yourself, is this pain coming from what just happened? Or is it triggering something deeper? Am I resisting certain feelings rather than allowing myself to feel them fully? When we resist what's really going on inside us, we get trapped in patterns of frustration and hopelessness. When we bring those hidden emotions to the surface and face them with honesty, they start to lose their grip on us. One of the hardest things about depression is that it creates a cycle. It makes you feel powerless, like you're just waiting for it to pass. The truth is, depression isn't just something that happens to us. It's a signal. It's telling us that something inside needs attention. It's easy to say, I'll just wait until I feel better. But if we don't deal with the deeper cause, depression will keep returning, triggered by different situations. So rather than waiting for it to go away, ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Is there something I need to face within myself? Facing these questions won't make the pain disappear instantly, but it will help you break the cycle. Now let's go even further and talk about our connection to life itself. At its core, life is relationship. Everything we experience is about how we relate to other people, to our environment, to ourselves, and even to our emotions. When we feel isolated or disconnected, it's not just about being alone. It's about how we relate to the world around us. Even the most withdrawn person is still in some kind of relationship with objects, routines, or even their own thoughts. The question isn't, am I relating? It's, how am I relating? Generally, there's two extremes. The first extreme is withdrawing completely. People who are deeply withdrawn, whether due to mental illness, trauma, or fear, relate very little to the world. They exist, but they don't engage. And the second extreme is fully opening up. So on the other end of the spectrum are those who love freely without fear. They are open, engaged, and unafraid to be vulnerable. These people aren't perfect, but they do live fully. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. We relate in some ways, but we also hold back, maybe out of fear, self-doubt, past wounds. We might have relationships, but they tend to stay on the surface. We talk, but we don't fully open up. We love, but only when it feels safe. And then we wonder why we feel lonely. If you feel unfulfilled in your relationships, ask yourself, am I really showing up as my true self? Am I letting people see the real me? Or am I holding back? Do I allow myself to deeply connect? Or do I stay guarded? The quality of your relationships is directly tied to how open and honest you are with yourself. When you hide from your own emotions, you also hide from others. So if you want to experience deeper, more fulfilling relationships, whether with people, with life, or even with yourself, you have to be willing to show up fully. That means letting go of the walls you've built around your heart. It means taking small risks, sharing more of your truth, allowing yourself to be a little more vulnerable, trusting that the right people will meet you there. You don't have to do it all at once. Start by simply noticing. Where do I hold back in relationships? What am I afraid of? How do I protect myself from being fully seen? The more you pay attention, the more you'll understand why you feel the way you do. And when you understand, you can begin to shift. Everything we've talked about, depression, sadness, self-awareness, and relationships, is connected. When you feel stuck, it's often because you're avoiding something inside. When you feel depressed, it's often because you're resisting deeper emotions. And when you feel lonely, it's often because you're afraid to truly open up. But here's the beautiful part. You are not stuck forever. You are capable of more connection, more love, more life than you realize. And the first step is simply to start noticing, without judgment, without self-pity, just with an open heart. You are not alone in this. If you'd like some guidance and support, reach out to me. Keep going, keep looking within, and little by little, you will find your way back to yourself. Love you. Connect soon.